Last year we had analysed Adam Pendum and Sivaranjanyam Innum Sela Pengalum, the two recent Indian anthology films we loved among so many others. We had stressed on the importance of the common thread, the overlapping motifs, and the connected universe that makes the anthology viewing experience complete. Freedom Fight, the new anthology film streaming on SonyLIV, coming from the makers of The Great Indian Kitchen, is that unique anthology which doesn't have enough connect among its 5 stories, and yet these are such strong shots on their own that it deserves your attention. And we are here to talk about Freedom Fight today, discuss the 5 shots, find out what could have worked better for the film overall, and why it is still one of the most relevant anthologies that must be lauded for its intention and integrity. Before moving on, here's once again requesting for your support through your likes, shares and subscriptions to keep us going and bring you more content. Director Akhil Anil Kumar's Geetu Unchained, starring a spirited Rajisha Vijayan, is a great start to the anthology, which also lives up to the umbrella title of Freedom Fight. We find Geetu fighting for her choices, be at office or at home, in terms of a wardrobe or choice of life partner across the story, in a step-by-step resistance to the convoluted social expectations. The constant toggle between the conservative household and the supposedly liberal IT office space is a subtle way to suggest that for a woman, there's always an expected code of conduct irrespective of where you belong. The title of the short, inspired from Tarantino's Django Unchained, does make sense, as the physical slavery that was imposed on Django in the 2012 blockbuster finds replica in the invisible chains that suffocate Geetu in its nature, if not intensity. The fight not only continues in director Kunjila Maschilamani's Asangatidhar, but also raises in vigor and stakes. Geetu was fighting for her rights of choice in life, and the women in Asangatidhar are fighting for something far more basic: a decent toilet, a safe and clean place to pee at their workplace. Srinda is once again superb after Kuruthi, giving an effortlessly emphatic performance as one of the saleswomen fighting for the rudimentary workplace right. Watching the film literally feels unreal. While we stream content over OTT from the comfort of our homes, some others of the same country are having debates and clearing doubts for the people in power that a place to pee is a must need. At a meta level, Asangatidhar exposes the inequality that constitutes India, be it in gender bias or uneven economy. That is why the film was best suited for the docudrama format that director Kunjila chooses, featuring real-life activist VG Penakuttu, creator of the women's group Penakuttu in Kerala, striving for basic rights for working women. But then, this docudrama style that works so well for the individual shot, Asangatidhar, falls out of sync when Freedom Fight is looked at in overall. The same issue happens for the last story, Pra.Thoo.Mu, aka The Emperor Has an Urge to Shit. The Jitin Isaac Thomas shot is perhaps the weakest of the lot, as it tries too hard to hit home in both appeal and content. Don't get us wrong, the cause and the questions raised are as important as any. It's just that the approach that feels jittery after the other more composed story. The working conditions of the sewage cleaners and their resistance in protest finds overlap in Asangatidhar, but in editing or fluidity, they sit far apart. And then all the 3 stories we discussed so far vary in tonality with the rest too of the anthology. Save for the start and end credit songs in Freedom Fight that syncs so well with the first and last shot, that is Geetu Unchained and Pra.Thoo.Mu respectively. But for Ration and Old Age Home, they won't fit at all. As we state in our introduction, Freedom Fight lacks the cinematic binding force that connects all the stories, and if only that part could have been taken care of, this would have been such an upraised experience. Nevertheless, let's talk about the standout section of Freedom Fight, Old Age Home, the 4th story by director Geo Baby. Wow, that was something. Not sure if the term fight goes well with this one, but Old Age Home has such a unique take on the idea of freedom that had us blown away. A man suffering of old age, pleading to break free from his medical prescriptions, wanting to give in to his childish fancies. A woman, his wife, perhaps after decades of dominance under expectations of her husband and kids, finally has time for her own. But now that her husband needs her more than ever before, is she giving him enough time? And caught in between is their maid Dhanu, played by a fantastic Rohini who isn't free enough to listen to their heart and indulge in the man's fancies, and not strong enough to listen to the woman and follow all her instructions. The story, set within lush green countryside, adds up another layer to suggest, irrespective of wherever we are placed, we cannot break free from the baggage of our past and the social identities of our present. Joju George is extraordinary as Baby George, the old man who has moved into his second childhood. The physical presence of Joju has always proven to be a mighty impact on screen, hovering upon others, say as in Aanum Pendum or Chola. But when we see the same man slowly moving around at the mercy of others, we feel unsettled. That's exactly what director Geo Baby tries to convey. There's hardly any breaking free from the limitation of the body and resistance to the flow of time. Too early to say, but we strongly feel that Joju in Old Age Home will go down to be one of the finest performances of 2022. And that leaves us with Francis Louis' Ration, the middle segment of Freedom Fight, the third story. The social inequality is again a theme as we see in the economic difference of the two neighbors who otherwise gel well. Fish curry that serves as the connection of love in some Malayalam movies comes across as the point of economic conflict in Ration, and the way director Francis Louis offers a very clever subversion. Kabini Haridas conveys through her eyes in a moving performance that elevates this contemplative story on the everyday truths of our life and not a fight to break free from them. Perhaps the fight is far cry, that's not even in sight, and we wish this could have been the last story of the anthology in the order we discussed them here. We urge you to give your time to Freedom Fight. The honesty and intentions of the project is to be lauded and called out. Thanks to director Geo Baby, who brings together these stories that give enough food for thought about the country we live in almost after 75 years of independence, and how collectively we are all failing to live up to this fight of freedom that got us here. These stories need to be discussed and shared, and that itself might be binding factor that we are looking for in Freedom Fight all this while. That is all from us today. Thank you for watching. Do check out our reviews for Aanum Pendum and Sivaranjaniyam Innam Silla Pengulam. Thank you so much.